Like,
Hey man, I hope you have a wonderful day.
whoa, sweet. Prima facie, it means on its face. And if we're oblivious to our surroundings, this is one way that things can be extraordinarily nonchalant. What's the worst of it? Well, let me tell you, red and blue shifting is a term in cosmology where objects would be going further or closer to a point of view, mainly a telescope, because we can't really go in outer space. Our mobility is like, well, how would you put it? Before we had vehicles, we were on a horse and buggy. And so the mobility for getting in a California gold rush was, if you're in Maine, not going to happen. And so when it comes to outer space, the same can be said, where there's like all these asteroids with platinum in it, but it's just like no one has the ability to become a space cowboy and mine them. Being mindful is something I take into consideration when it comes to Christianity and having faith in God. So God is like, what, you've got to work and then you get the fruits of labor. It isn't like as easy as everything's paved in gold and given to you. That's why royalty is like so much like satanic, because it's like hell is paved in good intentions. The pathway is paved in good intentions, but the more so that it's oblivious in becoming like really savvy with like computers, as much as an advocate of computers as I am, it's just a scapegoat. Let me get my face in the sun. It's just a scapegoat to undermine what God had intentions for, which was like being hands-on, because Jesus was always like, lay your hands on the sick. But the other thing was like, nothing's like granted, because in the slaves that Moses led through the desert, they had to reach up into, or outside of their tent into the sky to receive bread that was falling from the sky. So God provided bread for them and he rained it from the sky, but he didn't like appear it into their mouth. They had to reach for it. And that's a metaphor I'm going to remember my entire life, because God literally like did that. And so like that is humbling, but more so is like this whole working from home thing is like got all these people drooling, where it's even in commercials where there's guys in the poolside and he's like just working from home and he's making all these shots, calling, and he's like, that's how society collapses. It isn't building anything up. And then robots, if you get them to build everything and 3D print all these houses, sure, you can do that, but it's just going to be like sloppy copies, because like kingdoms and things are lasting long if they're made by hand. So where am I going with red and blue shifting is closer and further away, and this is actual real in physics, where it's colorations behind you is like a shadow depending if you're red or blue shifting. And this is really interesting because pixels have red and blue and green. Green is something that is relatable to mirrors, because the green screen, it is a mirror image that you portray like a reflection of CGI on it, and it's reflecting it. That's how it works. And also like there's more sciencey stuff, like I forget, but just it isn't like a birthstone color is sapphire, because I'm in September. green actually resembles mirror-like properties. I forget how, but take that for granted. So there's like red and blue shifting, and then the things that are green are reflective. So that's all right. So then the green is pixels because you've got red and blue, and then green is what makes up. If you look really closely at a screen, you can like cast with all the pixels together being those three colors, having like the whatever you're watching on a screen. And so when it comes to Newtonian physics, this is the law of attraction is really important because the loud truck, the action at a distance Einstein thought was spooky. This is why Newtonian physics didn't really advance past quantum mechanics, because this spooky law at a distance is a entanglement where a thing across the universe will interact with something if it's entangled. And so the law of attraction, it falls on its face because they don't know how that reaction occurs. The law of attraction is that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so if you put the Big Bang into, I thought that guy was going to give me money for a tip. I was like, just a high five. All right, so the law of attraction is important because you're supposed to, in Christianity, put God in the middle of your problems. And so like God handles like your enemies, so because it's all glory goes to God. So if you work really hard and then praise him by working hard in secrecy, he'll like bless you in the current state or the future. And so that's why I'm a firm believer at you've got to put God in between a problem as you work for it. So in the law of attraction, it's every action has an equal and opposite reaction that are equal. So if you're putting God in the middle of that, it's like a steroid of, you get an extra like lane in between an equal and opposite reaction is every action. So that is really important. There's red flags. I was told that I convey red flags. This could be not opening my eyes all the way or stuttering. I don't really stutter as much as I used to, but it's a red flag for me. Talking about paranormal activity, but here's one. When I was a kid, I'd stare at the ceiling when I was close to it because it has like these grains on the ceiling. These grains, let me be more specific. Look at this dirt. You see these grains? All right. So ceilings have that, but they're white. And so if you put your face close to it, I was on a bunk bed and I was looking at the ceiling. Those things, if you stare at them, they start moving around because your eye unfocuses. And that's how like the 3D glasses work. It's you have to unfocus your eyes so that, once again, the red and blue parts of the glasses, if you're wearing 3D glasses, then focus together, and it pops a third depth perception so that it looks third dimensional. But when I wasn't wearing them, I was like really close to it and I was seeing them move because I don't know why, but it's an effect that's an occurrence. So when I say stuff like that, it's a red flag, like just on prima facie. But if you're actually doing it, there's like a reason in optics why that's an occurrence. And Why that's important. Why that's important.